Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Is he a lone genius, a team of developers, a government agency? We may never know. In 2011, after launching a technology that would soon be worth trillions, its creator sent a final email. They handed over the project's keys, said they had moved on to other things, and vanished completely. They left behind 9 pages of code, a hidden message in the first block, and a global revolution that was just beginning to ignite. This is the secret history of Bitcoin. Not just how it works, but why it was created. To understand the why, you have to go back to 2008. The world was in free fall. The global financial system, the bedrock of modern society, was cracking. Banks that were too big to fail were, in fact, failing. Governments scrambled, printing trillions of dollars in emergency bailouts to save the very institutions that had caused the crisis. Trust was shattered. People realized that the centralized system, the banks, the governments, the financial gatekeepers
It's jamming
had
again.
failed them.
We need the
The
trillions.
system was
Just keep it
opaque.
flowing. Don't stop.
It was exclusive, and it was, apparently, fragile. A fundamental question echoed through the digital underground. What if we didn't need them? What if we could build a financial system that didn't rely on trust at all?
I am sorry, there is nothing
This
left.
question
It's all
wasn't
gone.
new. For decades, a small niche group of activists known as cypherpunks had been trying to answer it. There were cryptographers,
What if we didn't need
programmers,
them?
and libertarians who believed that digital privacy was a fundamental human right. They dreamed of a digital cash, money that could be sent online, person to person, just like handing someone a dollar bill. No bank, no permission, no censorship. They tried before. There was BitGold, Hashcash, B-Money. They were all brilliant ideas, but they all failed to solve one critical problem: the double spend problem. How do you stop someone from spending the same digital coin twice? If you don't have a central bank or a visa to verify every transaction, how do you maintain an honest ledger? For years, the problem seemed impossible. Until October 31st, 2008, Halloween, right in the heart of the financial clinic. Section 2, the Genesis. An email appeared on a niche cryptography mailing list. The sender, Satoshi Nakamoto. The subject, a 9-page white paper. It was dense, elegant, and brilliant. It proposed a solution to the double spend problem. The solution was a distributed, public ledger, a chain of blocks, the blockchain. Here's the concept, simplified. Instead of one central bank keeping a secret ledger, what if everyone had a copy of the ledger? To add a new transaction, miners would compete to solve a complex math problem. The winner would get to add the new block of transactions to the chain. And for their effort, their proof of work, they would be rewarded with new, digitally minted coins. This process was transparent, it was decentralized, and most importantly, it was secured by math, not by trust. It was an ingenious system that made cheating more expensive than participating honestly. 2 months later, on January 3rd, 2009, the Bitcoin network went live. Satoshi Nakamoto mined the very first block, the Genesis block. And embedded within its code forever was a single line of text. It wasn't a technical note. It was a message, a mission statement. It was a headline from that day's newspaper. The Times, 03 January 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Satoshi didn't just create a new technology. They fired a starting gun. This was a direct political challenge to the financial system that had just failed the world. Section 3. From idea to currency. At first, Bitcoin was nothing more than a toy for cryptographers. It was a fascinating idea, but it had no value. It was just hobbyists sending each other magic internet money. Among them were the original cypherpunks. Hal Finney, a legendary programmer and one of the first to respond to Satoshi's email, was the recipient of the first ever Bitcoin transaction. These early adopters weren't in it for the money. They were in it for the ideology. They were the first node operators, the first miners, dedicating their computers to supporting a network they believed in. They were building the foundations of a new, sovereign financial system. But for this idea to become money, it needed to prove it could buy something in the real world. On May 22, 2010, a programmer named Laszlo Hanyecz made a historic offer on a forum. He would pay 10,000 Bitcoin to anyone who would order him 2 pizzas. Someone in the UK took the offer,
Hi there.
called the Papa John's in Florida,
to this
and the
address in
pizzas
Florida.
were delivered.
It's a surprise for my
The
friend.
first real-world transaction was complete. Those 2 pizzas, valued at about $41, were bought for 10,000 Bitcoin. Today, that sum is worth, well, you can do the math. It's hundreds of millions of dollars. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a critical milestone. Bitcoin was no longer just an idea. It was a medium of exchange. But this new, anonymous, untraceable currency soon attracted a different kind of user. In 2011, a dark web marketplace called the Silk Road was launched. It was an Amazon for illegal goods, and its official currency was Bitcoin. For the next 2 years, the Silk Road defined Bitcoin's public image. The media, the government, the public, they all saw Bitcoin as a shadowy, criminal tool. It was a dark and necessary chapter. The Silk Road, for all its infamy, was Bitcoin's first killer app. It proved on a massive scale that Bitcoin worked. It could facilitate billions in transactions across borders with no government or bank able to stop it. Then, the first disaster struck. Mt. Gox. It started as a Magic the Gathering online exchange. By 2013, it was the Bitcoin exchange, handling over 70% of all global transactions. And in February 2014, it imploded. The site went dark. A cryptic message appeared. 850,000 Bitcoin. Gone. Stolen by hackers in a breach that had been happening slowly for years. It was a
Bitcoin
catastrophe.
is dead.
The price
But
of
a funny
Bitcoin
thing
plummeted
happened.
by over 80%.
It has not died.
The media, who had been waiting for this moment, declared in unison, Bitcoin is dead. It was the first time, but it wouldn't be the last. Section 4. The Boom. But a funny thing happened. Bitcoin didn't die. The network kept running. The miners kept mining. The cypherpunks, the true believers, kept building. They saw the Mt. Gox collapse not as a failure of Bitcoin, but as a failure of a centralized company. It proved Satoshi's original point. You cannot trust a central point of failure. And slowly, a new idea began to emerge. Maybe Bitcoin wasn't just for criminals. Maybe it wasn't just for payments.
A new idea
Maybe
began to
it was
emerge.
digital gold. Satoshi had built in a feature of genius, scarcity. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. And roughly every 4 years, the reward for miners is cut in half. This event is called the halving. It's an automated monetary policy. While governments were printing infinite money, Bitcoin was becoming harder to get. Its supply was predictable. Its code was law. This, combined with the 2016 halving, set the stage for 2017, the boom. Bitcoin didn't just enter the mainstream, it kicked the door down. It started the year at $1,000. By December, it was grazing $20,000. Everyone was talking about it. Your Uber driver, your barista, your grandma. Blockchain became the biggest buzzword in business. Initial coin offerings, or ICOs, raised billions of dollars for projects with little more than a website and a white paper. It was a frenzy. It was a mania. And, like all manias, it popped. 2018 was brutal. Another crypto winter. The price crashed 85%. Once again, the headline screamed, "Bitcoin is dead." But this time, something was different. The believers who stayed weren't just hobbyists. They were billion-dollar companies. They were Wall Street institutions. The crash of 2018 cleared out the scammers and the hype. What was left was an army of serious developers and enormous capital. Then came the pandemic and the money printing. In 2020, governments around the world printed trillions of dollars to support the economy. Suddenly, Satoshi's 12-year-old warning about bailouts didn't seem like history, it seemed like a prophecy. Institutions, terrified of inflation, finally understood the digital gold narrative. Michael Saylor, CEO of MicroStrategy, put his company's entire treasury into Bitcoin. Tesla bought $1.5 billion. The 2021 bull run dwarfed 2017. Bitcoin didn't just reclaim its all-time high, it smashed it, surging to over $69,000. It was no longer a question of if Bitcoin would survive. The only question left was how big it would get. Section 5. The Revolution. Today, the revolution Satoshi started is undeniable. El Salvador has made Bitcoin legal tender. Wall Street's biggest firms, who once dismissed it, now offered Bitcoin ETFs, bringing it to the retirement accounts of millions. The debate has shifted. It's no longer just a fringe technology. It's a trillion-dollar global asset, a new kind of property for the digital age, a hedge against the very systemic failures it was born from. From a 9-page paper, to 10,000 coins for 2 pizzas, to a global trillion-dollar network. The secret of Bitcoin's success wasn't just its code. It was its timing. It was an idea launched in a moment of total crisis, a solution to a problem that in 2008 the entire world suddenly understood. We still don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto was, but we know what they were. They were a person who saw a broken system, and instead of just complaining about it, they built an alternative. A system that is open to anyone, controlled by no one, and secured by the unbreakable laws of mathematics.